الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. In the last session, we went through how to love ourselves and relationship within ourselves. And this session, we'll be going through how to finding a partner, how to navigating the dating pool and finding a suitable partner. In this session, we have Mr. Shamseddin Giwa. He's a motivational speaker and a relationship consultant who specializes in modern communication tools. He addresses all ages, but focuses more on younger relationships, looking to find an equilibrium. He specializes in the application of effective nuptial communication and emotional intelligence on spouse selection, conflict resolution, in-law management, and family finances. I'll now hand over to Mr. Shamseddin to begin the session for today.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm imagining that, okay, I can't hear you guys back because everybody is on mute. It's good to be here, and it's a continuation from where the program began from the previous week. Typically, when we talk about going into a relationship and people ask about how to get into picking a spouse, I tell them that the first step is the step that was done the last program. So that means if you missed that bit, you have missed a big chunk of it. The first part, I'll just run a bit over it so that you have an idea of where it's coming from, so that when we begin to address the main issue, you don't get lost. It's important when you're going into a relationship to ask yourself, what is it I'm going into? But before you even go into what you're going into, you need to ask yourself who you are. People talk about what they want in a spouse. How can I get a good spouse? Well, it begins with you. It begins with what you know about yourself, who you are, what your profile is saying to people, what are you showing to people in dressing, in character, in how you talk, and your decorum, in your temperament, all of those things, they are there. But today, we're going to go from that to talking about, let's imagine that you've done all of what you should do, and then you want to go into looking for somebody. The first is definition. And as is with every task, so to say, that you want to go into, you have to be able to define what goal you want to achieve at the end of the day. There are people who talk about wanting to, they want to get a spouse, but they don't even know what they want in a spouse. I had a question with somebody one day, and the person said, what do you like? What do you like? What do you desire? And the person was talking about beards. And I looked at her and was wondering, like, do you have an idea of the depth of what we're talking about? We're talking about a lifelong relationship, and you're talking about beards. Beards is so superficial. Anything, you could shave it and that's it. So is that all you want to base a lifelong relationship upon? So that's where we're going to begin from today. We'll have a period where I'm going to talk. I'll address the topic. If we decide that we want to spend a month talking about this, it's still not going to be enough, because it's a very broad discussion. However, we will look to conclude the talk in 30, 45 minutes, 1 hour, depending on how the questions come. However, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of the day, and I know that many people would have questions that they want to ask. Please, I plead that we try as much as possible to limit the number of questions each person asks. And we consider that there are so many people on the program who may also have questions that they want about things they want to know. Keep the questions short, keep them with depth, however. That's another thing we need to look out for. Unfortunately, network is our issue. And from time to time, there might be interruptions such as this one. But if that were to happen, a moderator will step in and keep the program going up until the time where I'm able to, inshallah, come back. So like I was saying, there will be the Q&A session. Once you have a question, You don't have to wait until the end of the program to ask a question. However, just put it in the chat area, just type in your questions, and at the end, I will begin to address all of the questions, inshallah. So I will begin. When we talk about going into relationships, and the first thing people get confused about, and I get this question a lot, is this. So again, we're looking at it from the Islamic perspective and from the provisions given by the Deen. People ask, is courtship halal? That's the first thing that people want to know, and a lot of single people are confused about it today. On one end, you have people telling them one thing, and other people telling them other thing. I would like to state categorically that courtship, there is nothing wrong with courtship, even from the Islamic perspective. However, there are things stipulated that you have to follow. So, for instance, you cannot be in seclusion with the person that you're with. So, i.e., a man cannot just come look for you and then you guys go out and it's just both of you. There are ways by which this can be done. Interaction can go properly. There is nothing wrong with a man coming to your home, seeking permission from your folks, your parents and all. When that is granted, the person is able to sit with you and have a discussion with you properly. I know that that is not something that a lot of us do now. And I understand that, look, this is not a perfect scenario. So even if you've not been doing that, don't beat yourself up. Just understand that going forward, as much as possible, one is to try and keep these things in check. The interaction bit is very, very proper. So we want to be careful. Also, there are bit elements, premarital sex and all of that. The things that Islam frowns against, those things are clearly stated. However, the reality of it is that if you don't know who it is you want to go into a marriage with, you're going to end up with a lot of the issues that many of us have today. And unfortunately, it feels like we're not telling ourselves these things enough. So we talk about, oh, just come in, just come in. It feels like everybody just wants to tell you to come in. And then when you get there, you start to face all of the things that other people face. And you wonder, why didn't anybody tell me this? Why didn't anybody talk about this? There is nothing that is out of bounds for you to discuss. If you want clarity on it, discuss it. If you have sex-related questions, things you want to ask about it. Define everything. No topic is off point. There are people who talk about, oh, the gentleman's agreement, they imagined. Polygyny is a big, big issue today. And I tell you, regardless of what position Islam stands on it, you still have so many sisters frowning at it. So these are some of the difficult questions that conversations that people need to have up front. What is your the financial model that you're going to use? What is this person's income? A lot of that. All of these things are things that I will try to run through today. So you talk about, okay, so we've cleared that bit about it being Dr. Bashir Shodikwa. You can type a question in the chat area, and any other person, instead of raising hands, just type your question straight, so that at the end of it I can look at it and I can inshallah address those ones. So we've cleared that bit about whether he's haram or not. It is the elements that are haram, you know those ones, and then if you're able to eliminate those ones, there is nothing wrong with interaction, getting to know that period, and that is the definition of courtship for me, the period, that basic period where you're looking to make a decision on the person. Now, another thing that comes up as a result of this is people talk about, oh, what's the essence of courtship when you can't know it all? You can't know what it feels like until you get into marriage. Yes, I confirm to you, you cannot know it all. I also confirm to you that you don't need to know it all. You don't need all of it. You only need to know enough. So I give you an example with how a person studies banking and finance in school. So you study banking and finance in school, but that's not, the fact that you studied banking and finance doesn't mean that you're just going to get employed at the bank and straight away they send you into their branches to start working. No, your banking and finance it only counts for you having the basics and having a mind that can be trained. If you're still going to do their work, you still need to go to training school. That is what it feels like at the point of courtship. Courtship is not there to be the foolproof solution to everything. You know it all. Oh, I know he doesn't smoke. Oh, who told you he doesn't smoke? He doesn't drink. You're seeing what he's showing you. And the sister, she dresses this way. That's what she wants you to see at that point. And that's what you're seeing. It might be true, it might be false. However, You still need to go in with these basics to know, okay, this is it. Now, for me, there are a few things that are very, very critical when we're talking about selecting a spouse. Who am I looking out for? Yes, again, a lot of it will pull from self-definition, who you are. The sort of people that will approach you will be largely dependent upon who you are, what profile you are. I mean, you can't dress. So there was this thing I said a few weeks back. I said, you can't drive a Nissan Micra in Ibadan and not expect to be hailed for a cab. It is what it is. The way you profile yourself, the way you present yourself is the way people will look at you, and it's the sort of offers that people will give to you. If you feel like somebody that can come on the cheap, somebody that has loose values and all of that, people are going to offer you things like that. But if you come correct, people see a proper, solid profile, that people are less likely to push trash your way. And that for me is where it begins from. But you need to know what you're going into. So what are we actually looking out for? What you look out for in a guy is kind of different from what a female, for example, will be looking out for. There are red flags, and I need to stress it, that a red flag doesn't necessarily mean something is a breaking point, right? A red flag is different from a breaking point. A red flag is something you need to check. It's just there. This thing it throws up suspicions, throws up things that you need to clarify and verify. So for instance, if you find that a person always seems to be out of the home in the evenings, that doesn't translate into the fact that the person is a night crawler. It doesn't translate into the fact that the person consumes alcohol as well, even though it can mean that they can be linked, but it doesn't, it's just a red flag. At that point, you need to verify, try to see, why is it that this person is always out late? Is it the sort of person you are? Is it that it's work? Is it always caught up in traffic or something? But say the investigation of a red flag can lead to a clarification of it, or it can lead you to finding that, okay, this is a limit for me. This is a breaking point for me. I don't think I want to be able to proceed along this path. Now, when you find even a breaking point doesn't necessarily lead to a break. So for instance, if you find out that somebody has a character or something that you don't like, all you need to do is make it clear that this is not going to work for me. I would rather step away from it. Be fully robust in this sort of discussions. No, this does not work for me. You have a right at that point. That's like the biggest point where you need to negotiate and define what works for you and what does not work for you. People think, oh, he's good. And I hear this a lot from married people. You think somebody's saying, oh, he did this, he did that, she did this, she did that, and you ask, sorry, did you not see these things while you guys were courting? Did you not know these things before agreeing to go into a marriage with this person? And you hear this statement, I thought it was going to change. And I look at people like, no, you can't base your future on a change you assume. If I come out, I show you who I am. So perhaps Salat is not proper. Salat is not proper. The person's sound is poor. Character is poor. And you're telling yourself that the person is going to change. It's a risk that you are taking, but that risk may not necessarily yield result. At the end of the day, if the person asks you, like, I showed you who I was. I did not pretend to you. I told you that this is who I am. I showed you. You were okay with it. That's why you came into it. How can you get into the marriage now and you're looking to make me something? You're looking to make me something that I am not. First, I can see a few comments about not hearing. Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I wanted to verify that bit. So please, if you're not hearing me, I think, I don't know, maybe, okay, you can hear me now. All right, yes, people can hear me. So please check your audio if you're not able to hear me. So the person is going to look at you like, I showed you who I was. I did not pretend to you. I did not lie to you. You made that assumption on your own. And see, the person is not going to tell you not to make the assumption. If it works for him or her, they're going to let you make that assumption, so long as they did not commit to it. It's like when people want to get married and a lot of women assume that, oh, he loves me, he does this, that means that he's not going to seek a second wife or a third wife, or try to go into polygyny. If polygyny is a breaking point for you, you discuss it upfront. You discuss it upfront. Now, nobody, look, you can't deny a man the right to seek that which he is allowed by Allah, right? I know that there are a lot of grumblings that come up on this. Oh, is it the only sunnah that people follow? Is it the only look, regardless of whether they can do something or they can do anything else, the fact remains that he is allowed that, right? If you're looking to get married to a Muslim male, a Muslim man, you should know that he is allowed this. If it is a breaking point for you, look, there is no compulsion in the marriage, right? You should not go into a marriage that you know that the dynamics will not work for you. However, these things are better discussed up front. They make life significantly better up front, even for everybody. For the guy, if and when he chooses to go that route, or for the lady, when sort of something similar is looking to come up, you're able to pull it back and be like, but we spoke about this extensively. I told you this was a breaking point for me. These are the things that people choose not to talk about for reasons best known. Some of it being naivety, some of it being that, people just get desperate at the point of getting into the marriage, and then they just want to get married by any means necessary, and they just push forward. No, you speak well, you talk about all of the things that you want to cover. So what are the things, the basic things that I say, okay, a man needs to be looking out for, a female needs to be looking out for, because they're kind of different from what a man will be looking out for. I think if you're looking at a female doing the checks now, so you're the one looking out for a man, you want to be sure of his character. Character is the first thing that I ask people to look out for. Let's even look at this person, right? That one there. I'm going to come back and speak more about character, because, hey, anybody can pretend and show you whatever it is they want. It is what it is. You can't force me. I can pretend and be like, oh, assalamu alaikum, mashallah, and all of that, and give you an act for as long as we are able to go through it. Once the person gets into the marriage proper, the person begins something else. So that bit is that there are different ways, but again, it all hinges on your ability to interact with this person extensively. So that bit is there. Then the next thing I speak about is, beyond character, is the person's maturity. So maturity here, we're talking about physical, mental, financial, spiritual maturity. So when we look at it, maturity, people think it's only about maybe somebody's age, is the person 18, 22, whatever. No. Yes, the physical age is important as much as you look at physical development. A 12-year-old boy, a 14-year-old boy can already be going through puberty, be able to reproduce, and maybe even have a small source of income or have good character. At 14, you can be all of that. But at 14, would you have the mental capacity it needs for you to be a husband, potentially a father? More times than not, that answer is going to be no. So the first thing you want to even look at is this person's 360-degree maturity. But hey, how are we going to look for maturity if one is not mature? So you, the person to check for maturity, you've got to ask yourself, again, this goes back to self. Are you mature? Because maturity is not just going to be in your character, in your behavior, in your knowledge. Your own maturity is going to be in your knowledge of what you want to look out for. A lot of people are in marriages today that they don't even, like, they tell you, you ask them, did you check for this? And they go, no. Just because they didn't even know to check for it. So you see, these are very, very important things. It begins from you. Now, when you look out for the maturity is what you see when in younger couples, you find that a lot. They tend to have more fights, more quibbles, little things cause misunderstandings and stuff like that. These are things that even from the courtship period, you would, if you're able to look out for them, you're able to notice that, okay, maybe there is a little, every little misunderstanding, and then the person goes, do you know what, I'm not even doing anymore. I'm not even doing anymore. And this is common with females as well. And if you know what, I'm walking away. You know, I'm not even doing this. I can't even do this. I can't even go on. Everything is a threat. Understand at that point that person's mental capacity is not yet on the level of what marriage should be. If you get into marriage, this person is going to escalate that. And that's why you find a lot of times it's a set of men get out of my house, pack your load and leave my house. This thing still happened, 2020, right? And it's a set of women, I'm just tired of this, I'm just tired of this, I'm leaving every time. And at some point, threats will only harm the person. One day, regardless of whether you mean it or not, the person is just going to tell you, you know what, just leave. You want to leave, open the door and leave already. So this sort of things you want to look out for. The maturity is key. Again, we've looked at character, we've looked at maturity. Of course, we know that the very first one is the person's spirituality, all right? The person has to have a relationship with Allah, has to have a relationship with his creator or her creator. Marriage brings a lot of challenges your way, so many things, such that even people with a good spiritual standing still go through challenges, let alone people who don't even have it. We've been under lockdown for a couple of months now, and unfortunately, even during Ramadan, we had to pray Taraweeh at home and all of that. However, you have this situation where husbands and fathers who did not know how to pray suddenly found themselves in situations where they could not lead their home in salah. So if you are the strongest person in that marriage and you don't even know how to lead salah, then how are you going to lead? It means the whole of it. Does it mean that the whole of your family is not going to pray? And that literally is what happened with so many people. The house just faded away spiritually. Whereas even for the person, I mean, for all of us, it becomes easy. Tarawih, you go to the masjid and you have someone else lead the prayer and you're just okay to follow. But these are basic fundamental things we need to know. A sister asked me a question one day and said, so how can you know if a brother prays? So easy peasy. However, what makes it easy peasy is no longer effective now, because the moment you say it, then brothers are hearing also, and then you're going to have to keep adjusting it. Now, person says, but the person can pretend. I say, yes, the person can pretend. However, if you know how to pray, you know how to pray. If you don't know how to pray, you don't know how to pray. So at the very least, let's even check if you know how to pray. You are going to come to my house at some point to come see me, right? I will time it. You will come during Salat and we will ask you to lead prayer. If you can lead prayer, call in audio device. My audio seems fine. If you're not hearing me, I suggest that you might check. I tested it and there's confirmation that audio is good.
Sorry,
so,
I think for people who can't hear, they need to toggle their audio button. That's for newcomers, actually. I can see them. They just need to toggle their mic button. Then it enables you to hear what the speaker is saying.
Or if admin can, I think, request them to unmute. There's that option. Each of them, you click on the red mic button, and then there's an option to tell them to unmute. So, like I was saying, it's not even the mute. If they can't hear me, it's audio, not voice. Muting is about voice. So, I mean, they might need to check their devices. Anyway, like I was saying, look, you cannot check to see if a person prays all the time. You can only go as much. So, like we said, you know, the scenario we, okay, so I'm still getting people saying no audio from my side. Okay, just hold a second. Let me check and just be sure.
I can hear you.
Okay, if you can hear me, then it's fine. Then it's definitely not from my end. So they would need to. Okay, audio is fine. So there are people with audio fine. All right. So you can check it all, but at the very least, you want to even know if this person knows how to pray. If the person has the fundamentals, these are things that you can build upon. So you have a brother come to your house, come visit you, come see you and your parents, right? After all, he's supposed to need their permission to be able to interact with you. Anyways, this person comes to your home and comes during so don't use Zuhr and Ashr because those ones will be silent. You ask the person to come, say Maghrib period, and the person leads prayer during Maghrib, and it makes it easy. There is no how you're pretending. If you're able to pray, to lead Maghrib prayers comfortably, recite proper surahs and all of that, then at the very least, you know that the person knows, for a fact, knows how to pray. Now, that doesn't mean that the person does pray, but you already have a foundation that can be built upon. There will be other things that will let you see these things, like the sort of unconsciously, things will happen. One thing I tell you for a fact is this: regardless of how smart, how smooth the person feels they are always going to leave things for you to notice. So if you know what you're looking out for, there are always going to be slips here and there where everybody is pretending. There's going to either be that conversation during Salat, and it's time for Salat, and the person wants to keep talking, and at some point you just know. Sometimes you let the conversation flow and see if it's going to go, if the person is going to stop at some point. These are checks here and there that will take a bit of time, but after a while you have enough to be able to say, okay, even if this person was faking this thing, I've seen enough for me to be able to build upon. So that's an example along the line of spirituality. So you also, so we've spoken about spirituality. Person needs to have a proper relationship with Allah. That is massive, right? We've spoken about the person's maturity, 360-degree maturity, not just physical maturity, mental, financial, and all of that. You need to look at also the person's relationship with family. Ideologies is key. The person who is having issues with almost everybody is somebody that's going to be difficult to interact with. If that person is getting along fine with you, understand that marriage is not just you. You're not marrying just that person. You're marrying that person, the person's character, the person's family, and everything surroundings of the person. You don't want to start putting extra stress over yourself. Now, there are things that people tend to overlook. And when I talk about it, look, I was in a 7-year courtship. So take it from me when I tell you that it's not about how long. Usually when you tell people, they think it's because, well, it's because it didn't happen to you. Me, 7 years courtship, right? But the same me will tell you that it's not worth it. Now, that's not going to apply to everybody. People's lives are different, and life will throw different things at you. So for instance, I didn't wait 7 years because I wanted to waste time or all of that. No, I waited 7 years, and it felt like it was going to happen this year, and it felt like it was going to happen next year. And there were moves on my side. So think of how much convincing I must have had to do on my own side, how much promise I must have had to show, not promise with mouth, promise with actions and all of that. Imagine how much one must have put through for somebody to decide, okay, you know what, I'll wait for you. And then next year it goes, I'll wait for you. At the point we were in different countries, and she still kept on like, I will wait for you, because I came out and showed. At some point I said to her, you know what, you want to leave? Maybe you should leave, because this my thing is not looking like the thing is going to be anytime from now. And she goes, look, I am going to wait. I've seen enough to convince me. Alhamdulillah, all of that led in the right direction. However, I can only speak for myself because I only know my own mind. I've seen so many situations where sisters waited for so long, and at the end of the day, the brothers went with someone else, right? So you have got to assess the situation that you're in and look at it like, okay, how am I going to go about this? How is this worth it? Is this person showing me enough? Is this person convincing me enough with what I see in character, in promise, in prospects, in everything, in commitment too? The person has got to be able to convince you. But even at that, if you're beginning a courtship, so to say, if you're beginning that, by that first day, you should already know worst case scenario, what sort of thing you want to be going into. So for instance, now we know that there's no specific timeline. You can't say, okay, let's just do for 1 month. Let's just do for 2 months. No, your life is different from someone else's life. Everything you're going to check for, you're looking at a different person, different characteristics, different situations, different time, different location. So you want to go at your own pace. Don't say because Mr. A went 1 week, that it means that 1 week is okay for you. Nobody knows what's okay for you. Only you understand what's okay for you. And if you don't feel comfortable enough, do not go into it. There will be pressures left, right, center. Do not go into it because you're not yet comfortable with what you see. See, don't mind all of us around though, people who matchmake, people, parents and all of that. We like beautiful stories, love stories and all of that. We want you to try. We want you to just go, marry, and stuff like that. People like it and they're going to push you. But see, when you go in wrong, you at the end of the day, at the end of the nikah, everybody's going to go home and you will be left with just your own issue that you have to deal with. So if you've gone in for the wrong reason, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, a lot of things, extra issues that you have to deal with. So don't go in for anybody's reason, go in for your own specific reason. It's a time that needs not to be so long. If you're coming to meet me now and you're serious, there's nothing that says that at the end of the year, okay, maybe not year, say if it's beginning of year, at the end of the year, you should not be married to the person. It does, even with all of this, interact with the person, be robust about it, do your checks, at the end of the year, you should already be married. Some people will say 6 months. In my opinion, if you have the preparation, sorry, if I meet you today, I believe that 6 months might be a little bit on the shorter side, because there's just so much for you to try and see. 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. These are periods of times where I feel that a person can get away with more things if the person is pretending. Spread it out. If you meet the person in January, to get married to the person by December of the same year is not too long. But then that gives you a flow. It gives you enough time, in my opinion, to be able to look at certain things, interact right. People talk about how they went to, how they spoke to somebody to verify on their behalf. Look, nobody can verify on their behalf because you are the one that knows what it is you want from your marriage. You're the one that knows that bit. So stop allowing people to, look, you can get information for people, but don't put someone else in charge of verifying for you because you are the one going into the marriage, not the other person. That is very, very massive. People talk, but my uncle checked for me and they said it was okay. But you are not your uncle. Your uncle does not know what's okay for you. You alone understand what's okay for you. And then who is this uncle going to ask, by the way? So, all right. Who is this uncle, by the way? Who is he going to go ask? Uncle is going to go and ask, wait, anybody wants to find out about me now, they'll come and ask my own friends. What's said about birds of the same feather? They flock together. If you're asking about my friends, what's to say that my friends are not worse than me? Or they're not the same with me? You understand? Yes, this is correct, Sister Balkis. People will only say their own version of it. And that's the thing. I don't speak with my neighbors. I don't talk to my neighbors. I drive my own, open door, go out, come back in the evening. That doesn't mean I'm a quiet person. But see, when you ask the neighbor is going to come and say, oh, well, he's a quiet person. Whereas I might be a troublemaker elsewhere. It's the same with my friends. My friends, ask yourself this and look around you. Is anybody likely to come meet you, ask you about your friend, and you'll be like, say, I asked him, I say, brother, for the sake of Allah. Look, even when you say the sake of Allah, we have small corruption. Let me not generalize it. We have small corruption embedded in our chromosomes. We have it somewhere. The person is going to be like, look, I'm not going to be the one to scatter this person's relationship. So they're going to give you things that may not necessarily be point blank what you want. And even if it's point blank what you want, how do you know that it represents the true version of it? So you want to go ask, I used to be in a relationship with somebody, and you want to go and ask that person, look, we had issues. What do you expect? If the person is bitter, what sort of feedback do you even expect the person to? That he's a sweetheart, yet we did not end up getting married? At the end of the day, you owe yourself that verification. And that's why interaction is key. It's not even a case of you should make it halal. As such, you should allow him to come. Even in him coming, there will be other people who will notice other things and be like, oh, okay, this person that is always coming, is it not this brother that I saw somewhere? They will come, they'll chip in their own stuff, right? Yes, I agree. Sister Olabisi Yusuf, as Muslims, we should always be honest. However, there is a place for things ideal, and there is a place for reality. You're not going to drive out of the house and expect that because there are traffic laws, everybody is going to obey the traffic laws. You drive on the road and imagine that everybody is about to break the traffic laws. As such, this is how you should protect yourself. People are not always going to be truthful. So regardless of what you have in your own mind, the sort of thing that you're looking to commit is your life. We're talking about your life here. You're not going to commit your life into what you think somebody should do. This person, I expect you to be able to do it, so I will commit my life. No. Marriage, divorce. These are massive issues. And these are things that have happened. The person will go in, and 2 months into the marriage, you're hearing things like, we're not compatible, we want to break up. Wallahi, these are things that do happen. And we can make it perfect, but we can make it significantly better. We can make it significantly better if we do these things more. People talk about, I got into, look, it was a very heartbreaking story. They got married, and only to find that the brother had issues with erection. What are we talking about? How is that marriage going to hold? People will attempt to deceive you. Don't imagine that just because you have a good heart, everybody's coming at you. Give people a chance. Don't suspect people. Don't do all of that. But speak about what's key to you. And that point leads me to the issue of health checks. Please do your health checks. There are checks that will help you verify whether a person is sexually active or not. I mean, this in the case of a guy. Fortunately, you don't need to ask the same for a female, because I mean, the person, the layout of the body is such that that is by default. But for a man, for intercourse to happen, you need turgidity, you need proper erection. These are things that we should speak about. Talk about it like, look, I've never done this before, and we're going to need to do this. How do you feel about this? How do you do all of that? When you're doing checks, don't let the person go and bring their own hospital or their own doctor. My doctor friend said this. No, go to a medical practitioner you are okay with. No, it's your life that you're putting on the line. There's nothing wrong with you verifying that it is as it is. Who you are, we know this in our society, who you are as a single lady who has not been married, it's not going to be who you are if you get married and you divorce even after 1 month. Because we don't give people whose marriages don't work, we don't give them chances. It's unfortunate, but we don't give them chances. The moment you hear, oh, the sister has been divorced, in your mind you're going, oh, okay, she got married for 1 month. So she probably has a bad character. What happened? There's something that happened. It can't be this. She's probably hiding something, and already you're scared. So don't look at this thing. Even if that were to be the case, say, sisters, let's be honest, you go into it. How many slots does a sister have? 1 slot. If you get it wrong on the first one, how many slots does the brother have? 4. This is the reality of, if you have just the one slot, right? A Muslim woman practices monogamy. It is a Muslim male that is allowed polygyny. So you go in and you're thinking, me and my husband, that's the only slot you've got. This brother has 4. If he gets it wrong with you, he can decide, and that's what you find today. No reason, nothing. They can't say it, but it just feels like, oh, I got it wrong with this first sister, and subconsciously in their mind they go like, okay, let me just marry her. There's nothing. You didn't do anything, but I want another one, and then I want another one, and then I want another one again. So long as he's able to address it, and that is allowed him. But is that allowed you, sister? Is that allowed you? No, it is not. And it feels like we're talking about sisters alone. Brothers, look, this thing, sisters, they are packaging nowadays. These are sisters. They will package everything for you. The program I had last time, I said, look, if there are things that don't tally, a good person is a good person. You will say it. And luckily for us, we're able to see, even from a person's appearance, how a person feels. Yes, don't judge by appearance, judge by depth. But it's easy to show. You cannot be somebody that is using the hijab. You can't be looking to use the niqab, using the khimar, and then you'll be doing twali, aja twali. It doesn't co-match. Like, go all right. As I said, it's not right. You can't be doing aja and aja is doing twali. You know something is wrong. It does not match. And when it comes to it, look, sisters will package anything just to be married. Look, it's everybody that is doing it. I know brothers go, all right, thank you. Like, it is what it is. And these things do happen. They do happen. You look at somebody and the person is, look, you go, I'm coming to meet you. I told you, okay, I'm coming to meet you. And then the first question you're asking me every time, so what did you bring for me? So what did you bring for me? Which one is, so what did you bring for me? What did you keep for me? A lady that has an entitlement mentality is a lady you want to run away from, because the way it is, and look, let me be very blunt with you, and this is very personal. I have been a husband who could provide everything. I have been a husband who needed the wife's support to support me. Let's do this thing together. Believe me, I have also been a husband who did not have anything to bring to the table. For times when I didn't have 1 naira to bring. To make it worse, this did not, see, in Nigeria, you have somebody to run. We were living in London and this happened to me. What if I had got married to a lady who had that entitlement mentality? You have to do everything for me. What would have become of me? The little things that feels like we ignore, these things have massive repercussions when we get into marriage. You don't want to be a brother who is going to keep managing, but who knows what life is going to bring? If black and white television is all I'm able to buy today, look, there is somebody who is going to love you for your black and white television. Go for that person. Don't go for somebody who will make you buy plasma or whatever, curve screen. Where will you get the money? You will be frustrated. And you know what? At the end of the day, the story, you know how it is on social media, right? On social media, brothers are always to blame. Oh. You're a man. By default, you're at fault. Nothing. They will have finished bashing you. They will bash your life, and you know that they have groups. And we don't have all these groups. They will have destroyed you. They will destroy your generation on their groups. And then people will support them and tell them, oh, you go, sis, or something. All these things, they do these things. They talk about it. Nobody's going to come around and say, look, this brother was open. Oh, this brother was open. He told you what he was. He told you what he could afford. You went with it. Don't then get into it and start making him look like he's incapable. You saw that this boy was living in one room apartment, even though I don't think that makes sense, right? But we live on different levels. What makes sense to me may not necessarily be somebody else's reality. If that's what they can make do with, and you have a spouse who is willing to, look, I started life in a single room. Yes, you might say it's not single room in Nigeria, but it's still single room in London. One room, not like one room. It's not even self-contained. We upgraded to that type, and we had a room, parlor, kitchen, and stuff, and we upgraded to that. And alhamdulillah, we grew together. Now, this is somebody who is willing and able to grow with you. Look for such characteristics in it. Now, you also need to understand what marriage means. Though. Look, we have different models. There, over the years, unfortunately, our mothers, our grandmothers, and stuff, they were oppressed. A lot of them were maltreated, and it's not. It feels like there is a rebellion going on currently with sisters who have seen things go bad over the generations, and it's like now, they are now. Everybody is just out to just, I'm not going to take shit. I'm not going to take crap. Everybody wants, the moment you show sign of this thing, they want to run away from you. Look, I understand that this is how it is. However, a marriage still needs to have a model, a proper model. Understand, brothers, is key. I don't want to use the word, but I'll use the word later, and I know they will chop me for this. Understand, though, if the model you want to follow is the model of, I am your husband and I am the leader. Look for a woman that will want that as well. If you look for a woman that is looking for 50-50, there's nothing wrong with her looking for a 50-50. You saw her that that's what she wants, and you went with her. Brother, you are going to be in pepper soup, hot one. Look for your kind. If you want a sister who is going to be at home, who can work from home and do all of that, brother, there's nothing wrong in you desiring that. It is what it is. It is what you want. Please look for your kind. Don't look for a sister who is flying high, going out type person. And you say you want to make the person into what? It's not going to work. There are going to be issues. A lot of those issues we're seeing today. Let us just, these things are better avoided. Avoid them. These sisters are always there. Now, another key thing is this. A woman who talks too much is going to be an issue. And when I say talk too much, I mean, You can talk. There's nothing wrong with talking. Person might have good self-expression. I mean it in terms of temperament. We look at it like, the way I see it is a man builds a house, a woman builds a home. That's how I say it. That's how I was raised, right? It was my mom who solidified everything, who pulled everything together. The resources that my dad would bring, the children and all. She was just that connecting bit that made everything work. Alhamdulillah, I am able to improve on that because now we have two people looking to build a house and build a home together. However, I am not going to be like everybody. And every woman is not going to be my wife. I am not going to be every husband. I know we're different, right? We're different. So unfortunately, so I want to move to Q&A. I've been told I need to move to Q&A. But before I move to Q&A, also, sisters, if he doesn't have a job, please don't listen to anything he's saying. A job doesn't mean he needs to be off his job. If he doesn't have a source of income, a sustainable source of income, please let him shift. He has better things to go, and set his priority on, not getting married. Because one of the basic things that a man has no business setting up a home. He has no business setting up a home he cannot take care of. And this is the point where brothers talk about, oh, okay, what happens? What if you get married and then you lose your job? But that's the way Allah wants it. That's the way Allah wants it. Then you know that you had the job. It was sustainable. Something happened. You lost it. It's different from seeing it and then you walk into it. That is foolish, right? If he doesn't have a sustainable source of income, sisters, run away. It's a very, very, very extensive discussion. Like I said, if we have a whole month to talk about it, it's still not going to be enough. Hopefully, we've only been able to so it's not just income, sustainable one. Not that somebody dashed you 500,000 this month is not sustainable income. You better just go for somebody who has maybe one business that's bringing 50K every month. That is better than somebody that got dashed 500,000. He'll spend everything now, and for the next 1 year he's going to be broke. No. So I mean, it's I could keep going. I could keep going 10 hours. I could keep going nonstop, but unfortunately, that's as much as I would be able to go today before I move to questions. So I can see 99 plus chat messages. I hope it's not, 116. Oh, wow. I'll just scroll back to the very top and take as much as I can take before I am told, come and be going. So, Assalamu alaikum. My question is, like, what questions should a sister ask from a brother on their first date? Okay. Again, I think I have some of these posts somewhere. You can reach out to me at some point. I can look for them, share the links. But this one, let me give you a bit. You want to think about all of the things we've spoken about. Number one, you want to check the person's spirituality. Ask the person, what's your faith like? What is your faith like? So because it's not just, you're not just looking, or you want your deen to align. You ask yourself, what do you want in a spouse? Whatever it is you want in a spouse, you need to seek it. Seek it actively. So what's your spirituality like? What's your creed? Don't even look at religion alone. Look at the person's creed before somebody will become all those ones that will be pressing sand, right? You want to be sure that you guys are along the same path. Ask about the person's spirituality. What's your relationship with Allah like? What's this like? Be open. You're looking to get married to me, so this issue, I mean, is it like salah proper, or maybe understand the person's level? That one. Don't look out for the person's place of work. Ask at the person's job role. Anybody can work at Glow. No, let me not use Glow. NMPC. Anybody can work at NMPC. But somebody, no, NMPC, all of them, they have money. Let's use Zenith Bank. Anybody can work at Zenith Bank, right? But a contract staff at Zenith Bank does not earn the same thing as a professional staff at Zenith Bank. Now, while there's nothing wrong with a person with a contract staff, you deserve to know what you're getting into. And the way, man, we like to package this our thing here, I work at Zenith Bank. Right, yeah, I work as any bank. You go to the office, you see fine table, you see everything. You will not know that this thing, maybe after 2 years now, they don't renew his contract. You see that these are things that actually do matter. If I want to go into it, let me know what I'm getting into. Don't just think it doesn't mean that I'm going to discriminate because you're a contract staff. It just lets me work well. And for brothers too, this helps you. You need somebody that will key into what you're doing. You want to grow. Let her know how it is up front. Don't just form I work as any bank. You can be a security man as any bank. You could be anything. And even more importantly is at the end of the day, you want to have an idea of how this translates into being able to take care of a home. Know if the person has his own space, his own roof over his head. Ask about it. Where do you stay? Do you stay in a family house or you are staying alone or all of that? If the person asks, if you have reservations about staying in a family house, let the person know at this point. Ask about what the person wants from you. What do you want from me? Like, okay, what do you want? I've seen people come around and go, let's just see where it goes. What do you mean, let's just see? My own life. Commit on top of, let's just see where it goes. No, you need to come correct. You need to come with a feasible plan that is well defined. It needs to be well defined. It needs to be feasible. It's when you begin to ask all of these things, you find a lot of people don't even know what they are doing. So there are so many questions that you want to go, but these ones are the basics and they should be fine. Assalamu alaikum. Please, I can't hear. I lost my audio. Hopefully, I hope that was restored. Is there any matchmaking platform for Muslim divorces and widower? I know that there are different ones. However, this topic is one kind, right? You need to understand why a person is, why a platform exists. What I have found is that a lot of people can come up with lies over these places. So regardless if you eventually find, please be sure that you do your basic check. Don't say because anything. For instance, I match people and like it's very demanding and I don't charge for it. I don't charge anything for it. And that's because when you match somebody, if anything happens, they tend to look back at you. So this is not one of those things you want to charge somebody for, and the person will now, a lot of people are dubious nowadays, just looking for. So as much as I get this question that you're talking about, you also want a platform. So there are so many international platforms, but you find it's more of Asians and then people who have different backgrounds. Yes, I understand. It is said that when you're Muslims, no tribe, nothing, all of you are just Muslims. The next Muslim is your brother and is your sister. However, reality exists. So when you go on a matchmaking platform, you want to be sure that the sort of people you're meeting there are the sort of people who align with you as such. Somebody who is Indian, for example, as much as there's nothing wrong, it may be a lot more demanding for you to meet up with what the person's ideology and all of that. So, I mean, it's just good to clear. But your actual question is there any matchmaking platform? I know a few individuals who are into it, myself inclusive. I know that Ned Muslim does it well. And I know that there are a lot of Nigerians on his platform. That's because it's a platform I kind of trust. I kind of trust because I trust the individual behind it. So I know that at least there is not going to be an issue, nothing like but regardless of whatever it is, you want to be sure that you know what you're doing. Don't say because this person, I trust this person. Look out for the actual person that was introduced to you. May Allah be with us all. Please, can we discuss prenuptial agreement in Islam and what it entails? This is a massive, this is a giant topic. I can't possibly go through all of that. However, one thing I want to state is this. You cannot say, and this is important to know, and I'm going to talk about polygyny alone. You can, because prenuptial arrangements usually tend to be around that for most people, and finance, right? Money and the sort of marriage you're going into. You cannot tie a person down. No, you can't say because the person agreed with me before we got married that he's not going to get married to someone else, that means that it is binding. The person can never do it, right? However, you, the brother, telling somebody, knowing that it is a breaking point for the person, why would you want to then change on something you already spoke about? Don't build any marriage over deception, right? These are things that are not, we need to be careful in how we bring things into it, so that as much as we're trying to align things with the way it is in the world today, you also need to be careful. As for finance, as a sister, you don't have any issue. Your money is your money. It pains me to say it, though. I'm not going to lie. It pains me to say it. But the brother's money is our money. Your sister's money is her money alone. If she likes, she can tell you, take at all. Take this 1 million, take this 2 million. But it is her own money, right? You don't really need any prenuptial this thing for that one. It's your money. It's the brother that might even think, and these things are well defined in Islam. It's like I said, prenuptial agreement is a massive topic that unfortunately I would not be able to cover extensively today. Is there any matchmaking platform for, I think, especially that takes into a person's social strata to enhance compatibility? Nerdy Muslims for that. I do know that one. I know other ones, but I know that, majority of the people here are Nigerians, so I will speak about the place where you go and you find Nigerians also. Good evening, everyone. Please, no audio. I hope that has been sorted. For a Muslim lady that is divorced and is of high profile, if we say high profile, maybe we mean money, right? Which organization platform setting would be recommended for such to get a spouse? It's still the same. I don't know what you mean by high profile, because, okay, we're talking about privacy here, all right? Your best bet is with people, individuals. Your best bet is with individuals as against, say, public profiles. Because, look, you may be concerned about privacy, and I know a lot of people are concerned about privacy, but people who tend to be of higher social strata usually have more concerns about this. You're scared about, I don't want this person to come in and maybe try to take advantage of me or stuff like that, or a person's coming for this high profile and all that. So you want to keep it as anonymous as possible. I think your best bet is with when you have individuals who are able to link you. So for instance, now, if say I know you, I know who you are, I already understand you. If I'm going to bring anybody, then the person will be somebody who I have viewed and I think this person is going to match. So also, there'll be so many people and the screening would have been done automatically. Like, I know this person may not want this or all of that. You see, it's easier that way than when you go about. I don't know any specific profile, any specific platform that takes this into consideration. I mean, it's more like everybody's the same at the end of it, or regardless of what the person brings to you. You still need to do self-assessment. You think you're high profile, the other guy too might be high profile. In fact, I had this happen to me a few days back where, issues like this come up and the guy's feeling like, oh, what do you mean? I'm high profile as well. And the lady's also feeling this way. So sometimes these are tricky issues. So Micah has a window for that. Beautiful, right? So that one already covered. Please drop your questions in the chat box. Yes, good evening. Try to check if you're okay. Hear me. Assalamu alaikum. I couldn't hear. I'm still running through check your end. I can't hear. Can they continue with your presentation? Okay. If you need to check if you're that, I'm just looking through the chat to see what other questions exist. Good evening. If you can hear again, this is about the audio. People, hopefully, I hope that all of this have been resolved. Drop their questions. I can hear audio. So many people seem to be having issues with audio. Hopefully, they've all been resolved. Into chat, there's more. Again, it's okay. Say over. Okay. But as Muslims, we should always be honest when asked such questions. Okay, I remember this coming in. Yes, we should be honest. And this is as regards when people come to you to ask about, look, at the end of the day, you're going to answer to Allah, right? So if you know the truth, you say it. But again, that's easy for you when you are the person giving the recommendation. It's not very easy when You are the ones taking your own life and stuff on someone else. So you, as much as you want to expect the best from people, you also need to be careful because, hey, it's not written on anybody's forehead that this person is taking sides with his friend or neighbor. So we should be careful. Does it imply that we can't really access the other, especially, okay, does it imply that we can't truly access the other party online, especially in long distance relationships? Okay, you can have access to the person, right? However, understand a bit about when you're with the person and why these things are spoken about in terms of you being together alone. The physical bit, things can happen, right? When you're with somebody in an enclosure and it's just you, there's that level of privacy. If you've been there, then you know what I'm saying, that anything can happen. In what we call relationships and courtships today, touching happens. A lot of times touching happens. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to touch, right? Everybody's going to attempt. Sometimes it's just in the mind. Even your mind, in looking at the person, in all of those things, these things do happen. And they're better prevented when, it's done the right way. There's nothing that says, I mean, when you meet a person, you're still chatting with the person. You still need to be able to exhibit a lot of decorum. And I think at that point, you're still doing more of, okay, is that stage when you're meeting somebody, where you're getting to know, it's just chat. The moment, before it even gets to some other levels like that, there's nothing wrong with, I mean, it's serious. You want to know me. You want to try and know me. You want to try and see if something positive can come out of me. I don't think everything should be done over chat anyway. As much as I know that, it's not the same sort of issue everywhere, but I don't think that everything should be done over chat. Before you make proper decisions to decide on somebody, I don't think chat is enough. Has it worked for people? Of course. There are people that this has worked for. Would I advise anybody to do it? I wouldn't. I would say wait until such a time when you are able to see the person before you decide whether this happens or not. Now, if the person is coming to meet you, again, we talk about the person having maybe seeing your mahram and all of that sorted. I think that covers. I'm not going to speak too much on it so that I don't say something I'm not 100% certain. But if you ask me, I think that should suffice for when the person then goes away, right? The person is gone away and you guys are chatting. Already the person sought permission to have access to you, and that person has been granted permission. And you guys are not in the same physical space. So I think that bit is there. Good evening, everyone. You're making a lot of sense. Thank you very much. Imagine how counseling is highly advanced. How did I miss this? Okay, like I said, this is not a 30-minute, 1 hour thing. This is very, very massive. Please, I beg you, go for premarital counseling. Please. I also beg you, look at who you go to for premarital counseling. It is massive. I know that parents will counsel you. Friends can counsel you and stuff like that. Look for somebody who does this, who knows about this, and go there. Question. People ask, when is the right time to go for counseling? And I have somebody coming to me saying, okay, we'd like to book a premarital counseling with you. And your nikah is next week. Now think about it. Counseling is supposed to help you learn a lot about the journey that can come up. It's supposed to be even before you talk about, I want to make a decision. This sort of things that we could call this program session, we could call it part of things that you would get over a proper premarital counseling. See, we've not even spoken about family finance. We've not spoken about in-law management, roles of a spouse. Who is a spouse? What you need? What defines you? The session that was held last week is also part of it. Like, who are you as a person? Do you even know what you're looking for? People say you're looking for, where are you going to look for partners? What interests you about? Like, so many things. If you've already made these decisions and you've already picked the date with the person and it's 1 week, think about it. If something that could be a breaking point was shown to you a week to your nikah, what are you going to do about it? You've already made the decision. You've already planned. You guys have bought cow. Are you going to cancel it at that point? And that, more times than not, is what you have people talking about oh, I think he's going to change. No, it's not like you thought he was going to change. You were hoping for their life that the person will change, because the counseling you're having a week to your nikah is more or less going to be for for your information's sake, at least as far as getting to that point is. For the things that are yet to happen, let's say if something is the breaking point and you don't even know it's a breaking point, how do you then stop it from happening? The best bet is for you to have it. Best case, have it before you even decide on courtship with anybody. If that ship has sailed and you've already begun, have it as far away from your nikah day as possible. I.e., if you've met somebody today and you're looking to make the decision, you should already have premarital counseling at that point. If, okay, where you are today, that has passed, then have it as soon as possible. Don't wait until marriage time. But it is important. Look at who you go to. It is very, very key. Where I'm tired of hearing is nice. So, all right. I just believe you can totally know a person. Yes. I just believe you cannot totally know a person until you are married to them. Statement of facts. Yes, you cannot completely know a person until you're married to them. So don't try to know everybody. Don't try to know all of the person. Try to know enough to get you started on the journey with that person. Okay, speak about what's key to you. I like that point. Yeah, thank you. What happened when you're satisfied with the choice, but the family? Okay. What happened when you're satisfied with the choice, but the family dynamics turned out to be a complete departure from one's understanding of the thing? So I want to try and understand this again. What happened when you're satisfied with the choice? You are satisfied with the choice, but the family dynamics. Now, I don't know if this person is referring to family dynamics in terms of your own side or the guy's side or joint, but the family dynamics turned out to be a complete departure from one's understanding of the thing. So from my own understanding of what you're saying, so you're okay with the person, but the person's family is maybe on a different level. You are getting married to that one person. However, you are not marrying the person alone. So let me give you this. I've seen people who got married to other people who changed their religions, right? So say you're a Muslim and you're looking to get married to, say, a sister who reverted, right? At the end of the day, or you're a sister looking to be married to a brother who reverted, at the end of the day, your assessment is going to begin. It's not going to rest only on it. It's going to begin, keyword begin. It's going to begin from the individual, right? There are times where an individual makes a positive impression of himself so much that the things that you notice about family become things that, what's it called, risk assessment. They become good risk, things that you think that you should be able to handle. Of course, we know that you're putting Allah first in everything you're doing. Let's forget about this one that we're talking about there. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In fact, Rajim is key to put that beginning from it against shaitan. They are called shaitan, right? Begin from there. When you put Allah in front of you, you let go. Tie your camel, however, or you let go. Allah is going to take care of everything, but you still need to do your own bit. Your own bit begins with assessing the person. When you look at the person's family and you see that the sort of dynamics that play out between the person and the family. So a person who has been able to display independence of mind with just you, and the family is showing to you that even though the person is of a different religion, they don't have an issue with it. They don't blame you for it and all of that. Then it's going to be on a person by person basis, because this will differ. When you look at that sort of thing and it feels okay to you, you see enough to tell you that this person is not pretending, this person is not lying, and your mind connects with this person. It is what it is. You go for it. But say a person who, let me use brothers and family house. So a brother who wants to marry you and bring you to the family house. Again, people do it and it works for them. I strongly speak against it every time, because I think that a young couple need their own independent space. A wife is the matriarch of the house. She needs to have a space. There is no way that's going to happen where you've got the man's mother there or the man's sisters and all of that. Privacy, stuff, different things, that mistakes that they need to learn on their own. This is just not good. It's not good enough for me. Now, imagine that you have a brother who is looking to marry you and take you to a family house, right? And you can already see that when you're with the brother, it's like you guys are saying one thing, and then when you meet the family, it's like some other thing. He's changing. They have enough of an influence on him to keep changing him all the time. Believe me, that is it's a giant red flag. I would say step back and be sure, because this thing is sort of thing that can tear your home apart. So you see, it's going to be from a person-to-person basis. The scenario in everybody's case is going to be different. Um, so issue of fertility among couples is tearing our contemporary unions apart. Allow Mr. Ann. All right. Good evening, everyone here. Good evening to you too. I remember a post from you, nothing should be swept under the carpet. Yes, this was 2 weeks back. I think I had something again. Nothing really should be swept under the carpet. If you're a person, if you're a sister, and you've never done it before, and you keep having, you have frequent urges, the way you're feeling somehow today, and tomorrow you're feeling somehow again, and the next day you're feeling somehow, let the person know that I feel somehow every day. Oh, I've not done it, but I feel somehow every day. Look, we're looking to be married. If you cannot establish, but sister, see, decorum is key. Not like a brother is meeting Islam alaikum and they go, wa alaikum salam, and then the next thing, do you want to marry me? I feel like this every day. No, come on, like you ease into it. Again, that's topic for another day, how to go about this thing's very, very massive. But every single thing should be discussed. Have you been in a marriage before? What happened there? Any previous kids in and outside of the marriage? So we don't assume that because somebody was married, male or female here, it could be anything. Are you, not even have you been married before, are you currently married now, Seth? Because a lot of times people just say, I could say what ring. What's that got to do with anything? What ring? So, right? So let's be careful. Allah's aid is sought. Who you are as a single lady is not going to be the same as as you in marriage or divorce. That's of course not trying to counter what I was saying, but I think we should accept the reality that more often than not, majority follow the religious doctrine. Okay, only when it suits them. True. I don't think it's enough to just believe what people say because we expect them to be God-fearing. Let's never overlook their actions as well. I think that's nicely said. One slot for sisters. Sisters, one slot to ahead. So please be careful. We have 4. You have 1. Now, not everybody is going to activate their 4. Inshallah, I don't look to activate any more. My 1 is inshallah enough. However, I am not going to speak against a brother who decides that he wants to activate his own. We should understand that this thing is a function of choice. So not everybody look at one brother and say, oh, because that brother has just one wife and is not looking to add. My liver is not strong enough. That's why I'm not adding. Oh, and I leave my liver the way it is. I don't want to add, right? It's a function of my choice. It doesn't mean that another brother X who is looking to go into it is doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean, of course, the approach, how the person does it will decide whether he's doing it wrong. But please, let's not judge let's not judge who a good person or who the best person is based on that. I know that sisters usually, polygyny is a topic that usually sets divisions and all of that. Sisters and all. Right. Okay, I just saying, oh, I don't even know what, I just hear people saying that thing. Twali means she's just, right? Okay. The entitlement mentality, very key. Don't ladies and men package. Everybody now, we all package. Entitlement mentality. I'm just scrolling contemporary. I'm trying to understand the idea behind I am trying to understand the idea behind he having 4 slots and the lady only having 1. I get people think that way, but how is that the right approach in the Sharia? Please expand. Okay, I'll give you a good example to this. I've met people who got married, and based on what they both think that life should be, they decide on certain things. Sister decides, you know what, stop working, stop developing. What are you going to school for? What are you going to work for? And stuff like that. And alhamdulillah, the guy still continues to provide for her because he's able to provide for her. And they're beautiful, they're fine. Now, 10 years down the line, the mindset of said brother changes. And said brother begins to get who you are. Say you get married at age 30, right? Who you are as a 30-year-old is not who you are as a 40-year-old. Your mind is different. Your view of life is different. The things that appeal to you would vary. The things you know would differ significantly. That's 10 years, right? Now, 10 years down the line, you meet another sister, and that sister appeals to you because of the nature of her job, how vast she is, how many degrees she's been able to acquire, how she applies them to day-to-day life, how she's a go-getter and all of that. And all of these things just apply to you, they appeal to you. Now, you decide at that point, like, okay, I want to activate slot number 2. What do you think happens to the woman at home who was told to stop, you don't need it, who was told, just sit, don't worry, I'll take care of you, who's been getting taken care of? That's everything that lady could have been. But at the point when you were making that decision, you were making it based on the understanding that both of you and the maturity that both of you had at that particular point. These things will change, which is the point where when I speak about a man has got 4 slots, at that point, okay, imagine this scenario I've spoken about. That man now is coming 10 years later to seek to marry everything he stopped the first lady from doing. Did he stop her before because he was wicked? No, that was his own understanding at age 30, how he felt it should be. His understanding of the deen, his understanding and application of the deen. That's how it was at age 30. At age 40, after having reached a different level, a different robustness of finance, a different enlightenment, a different height in who you are as a person, you suddenly realize, okay, it's not so bad when you have another woman who is able to, maybe you have businesses over now and you're looking for somebody with an MBA or something, and you have somebody who is already doing something along that line with you. A lot of times, you will begin to realize these things and not think, okay, the woman at home, let me upgrade her. That one is already at home. You're thinking more like this new one, at least let me add this one can do that. And people think this way. So when I tell people, I say, remember, he has 4 slots. That means that wrong decisions have a more gentle effect on him. Seemingly wrong decisions have a more gentle effect on him. He's able to make a mistake with you. He's able to be an immature person with you in marriage. He still gets the choice, if he chooses to recover from that mistake in the next person, and the next person, and the next person. That means that the intensity is much more on you as a female. You don't have the chance to recover. When you make that decision or you make that mistake with that person, that's all you've got. The only way you can make it better is for that person to sit with you and you guys recover from it together. If the person the person you're running with is looking to recover from it by seeking another person, you see how that's an issue. So this is what I meant, my own context of referring to it in that manner. Like, he's got chance to make 4 mistakes. It's more important to you. And this just means that whatever it is, male or female, let's just pay attention to these little things that we tend to, not so little things that we think are little. I need light on compatibility before you finish the session, sir. Compatibility. Compatibility is very key now. Look, it's a giant topic. If compatibility were to be the only thing to talk about today, this time will still not be enough. However, you want somebody who aligns with you. It doesn't mean that the person needs to be, so if you're somebody who has a BSc, for example, compatibility doesn't mean someone else who has a BSc. Compatibility could be someone who has never been to school. Compatibility could also be somebody who has a PhD. Compatibility would be how the person aligns with where you see yourself. An upward trajectory, not downward. Your journey in life today, you should have an upward trajectory. This is where I want to go. I want to be a better person in terms of my deen, in terms of my career, in terms of my character, everything. You have a journey. You have where you want to go. Compatibility is seeking somebody who would key into what you have and at the very least be able to help it. If we start talking about individual things now, that's going to be massive. So I mean, it's a big question, but I can't really cover all of that. You will need to remember monogamy is the rule. Polygamy is an exception. I really don't get the context of this. Da, 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 da. What if the lady is already made? Which one is, sisters, why are you doing this to us now? Which one is the lady is made? The brother is not coming with Spangolo now. What if the lady is already made? Is it appropriate for her to go for a man that is just starting to grow? Appropriate. There is no such thing as appropriate. You define what's appropriate for you. You define what you want in life. If she's already made, she cannot have everything she desires in life. She cannot be a made woman and be a man at the same time. So regardless of what it is, the man still has something she yet does not have, regardless of whether it's made or not. Having said that, you need to look at the scenario and look at the society that we have. A lot of men, unfortunately, are raised to the mindset of the man has got to be higher on every single level, i.e., not many men can handle a woman who is wealthier than them in terms of finance. Not many men can handle women who are more cerebral, who are more intellectual than them. That is when you begin to hear things like, oh, she's too arrogant, she's this one. And then unfortunately, as we have it in our society, a lot of people will try to clip you down. This is a reality, but this is not as it applies to everybody, which is why you should look at yourself, your own specific scenario and what you want from life. So, for instance, look at this particular man. Why are you bigger than him? Are you bigger than him because you have more opportunities? Are you bigger than him because life has been better for you? Are you bigger than him because you're from a wealthier family and all of that? Now, regardless of all of this, does it matter to what the goal you intend to achieve in life? Does it matter who is bigger? Does it matter to him as well? So for instance, the sort of man I am, it doesn't matter to me if this house I am in is owned by my wife. She's still my wife and we're still in this home. We still run it together. It doesn't matter who owns what and all. It's lack of setting our relationships, unions and marriages now. It's lack of setting these unions right that makes us think, oh, it's my own. What if, and then the man ego sets in, you think, no, I don't. You want to have the right to be able to tell somebody, get out of my house. If the house is not your own, you can't tell somebody, get out of my house when it's not your house, right? A lot of people unconsciously, I want to have the right to act anyhow. These are the things that pull up the issue. Again, understand that the dynamics will be different also. If you're a lady who is higher than a man, right? You might need to adjust certain things. It doesn't mean that you're giving up your identity, your personality, but you cannot expect somebody whose income is 50,000 naira to you to buy you Swarovski diamond ring of 2 million. It's not going to happen. No. You will have to manage whatever he is able. You prorate for brother. Don't let brother go and steal. Or the 50K is how much he can afford. So if you're going to put somebody on that level, either your association with the person will need to raise the person up to where the person can do what you want, or you're going to be cool with whatever the person brings. Again, just make sure. Again, let's be key on it, because you didn't just say somebody she's higher than. You said a man that is just starting to grow. Again, if I'm going to talk about this, it's going to be much longer, but it only brings up more red flags. I will be interested in looking at, why is this brother that is just starting to grow? Why are we meeting at this? I will want to protect myself as a female, so I want to be sure that you're not just coming at me because you also want something. I need to go at the faster pace because it's 6:30 and I know we'll be approaching Maghrib inshallah very soon. So you won't get the shock of it. I want everyone to drop 45 minutes. I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to meeting you as well. Flashback on maturity. Unfortunately, there won't be enough time to go back and speak about maturity. 100% job. Can we get a recording of this talk? I am sure that it's already been worked upon, inshallah. What about a private school teacher who intends to marry a second wife? Can he be said to have a sustainable source of income? We have different levels in life. if you ask me, a private school teacher, I don't know. The way we talk about it, a private school teacher could be a teacher working at Green Springs, right? Which is a well-paying, I think. If you are charging students millions, then I want to imagine that you're paying your teachers well. At the end of the day, it's about the person's income. A private school teacher may have a different source of income, might have different things. Can he be said to have a sustainable source of income? Look, it is sustainable. However, it is not enough. If this income is like 50K, 60K, so well, again, different levels of life. I don't think it is enough for me. What is more preferable between courtship and real relationship? I don't know what this person means by real relationship, but I think that courtship is always going to be better, because the key difference is that courtship talks about the destination where you are going with it, marriage. A relationship can be, okay, let's just date. Let's see what's going, go out on a couple of dates and, you know, all of those things that we used to do and we still do. Courtship has a direction. Marriage is headed for marriage, and I think that's halal. Sustainable income, the lack of finance might be being long. So many things. What can a lady do to men? My question is, what can a lady do to man who just stopped calling and after some time coming back again? All this one, I'll be ghosting. It looks like a guy is not serious to me. I think the first thing is you need to understand why the person is doing this, right? Is the person going through personal challenges, right? Sometimes things feel like some way from a distance. And then when we get to find out the facts, we go like, oh, and I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? So I think that's where you want to begin from. However, I don't think a serious person will ghost. If the person needs to be away, it will be something you are in the know of. But like I said, there is not enough information here for me to outrightly say, oh, this person it's a red flag and all of that. So, all right. So please don't forget, you can follow Micah at Micah Nigeria, Facebook page, Instagram page, Twitter page. You can reach Micah. Micah's got a direct WhatsApp number, 08087993292, right? And you can also send an email at micah_sec@sec as in SEC, Sierra Echo Charlie @yahoo.com. Again, I take that, micah_sec@yahoo.com. So why did he leave in the first place? Again, I'm in a courtship with a revert or convert, if you know what I mean. Please give me specific points I should look out for. I would not be able to go through all of it. It's massive, right? So you can reach out to me on social media, right? It's still Shamseddin Giwa on every platform. Even one is enough. Once you get one, you can get some of these things, the issues that I've already discussed on post or something that I can just give to you. Some of these are things that need to go beyond just, how do I do this? And all. There are things that I need to know about specifics, how it applies to you. Some things that, a lot of things in relationships and courtship and marriages they're specific to you. How it applies to you is not how it applies to someone else. So, I mean, if somebody says, I'm in a courtship with a revert, please give me specific points I should look out for, considering his parents are Christians and so on. But I mean, of all the things that you want to be able to look at, first is what is the person's current level? That's the one that applies to you. You want to look at the person's relationship with his family. Now, the fact that the person is of a different religion now with his parents does not mean that this person's relationship should be severed from parents. You want to see the deen goes beyond just your salat and all of that. It's in your character. It's in how nice you are to people, even those who are not nice to you and stuff like that. These are some of the things that you want to look at. But then you're also looking at marriage. So don't just look at the person's character and then being a revert and all of that. Focus on the other core things that matter as well. Look at the person's character. Look at source of income. Look at if you're attracted to what you see. Do you like what you see? Do you like the package you see? Don't tell yourself that love will develop over. Look, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Don't try to form anything. Again, that's I'm just trying to scroll through everything. Is it right for a lady to tell a guy about her feelings towards him? There's nothing wrong with it. But please, try to understand a bit the person's maturity, the guy's level of maturity. Not everybody is able to handle it, but I absolutely don't think there's anything wrong with it. May Allah reward you as well. Okay. I would like to be on the voice platform, please. So that's up already. It's good to finally hear Gawi. Me, unfortunately, I could not hear you people's voices. Okay, a lot of people interested in the platform. Okay, don't build marriage over deception. Absolutely spot on. Okay, the Muslim high profile. I've seen this again. Again, you can also support Micah by giving your expertise, whatever it is you're able to do that you think can support the cause. You can also do that. There's a financial support pool. You can donate to the Polaris bank account number 177-107-0329. 177-107-0329. Account name is Micah. If you want those details, you can always reach out to the host of the meet. How can I join your matchmaking platform, sir? Just send me. How can I join your matchmaking platform, sir? Just send me a private message. Send me a message about. I'll tell you how it is. Send me a message about what you want. I'll ask you questions, pretty much. A few questions, who you want and all of that. What sort of, not who you want, what sort of things you want, and I ask questions about you. And that's it. You're in the pool. When people come up, it's a two-way thing. I'm checking if the person meets what you said you want, and if you meet what the person says say they want. If I'm able to find that match, I connect both of you. I step back, leave you guys with prayer. If you guys like what you see and you want to take it next step, I'll ask you, are you sure you want to? Then call you. Don't think that because it's me. Look at this person. Well, check for this thing. There'll be counseling done individually, then together. Hopefully, it goes all the way. So I need emphasis on compatibility. Unfortunately, I'm rushing through. I won't be able to address that. This is the second week of my coverage. Okay. Shamseddin, do you provide marriage counseling to potential couples? Assalamu alaikum, brother Shamseddin Giwa. Do you provide marriage counseling to potential couples? I will appreciate if you can provide this service. I absolutely do. That is my work. Yeah? That is my work. So if that is something you're interested in, please do reach out to me on any of the social media platforms at Shamseddin Giwa. Just search me up. Or you can even reach out to the host or whichever, and you would find me. Send me a message, and I will be glad to take it up from there. In fact, I will put the handle Shamseddin Giwa. I'll just type the handle now and send through. That's the same handle that you need to be looking out for. It's there on Twitter. Twitter, not so big, very small. Don't come on Twitter. Twitter is, I'm almost never there. Instagram, yes, buzzing a bit. Facebook is where I'm a troublemaker. Facebook is the best for me. If you reach out to me, I can send you my private number. We talk. My programs and sessions are paid, by the way. So we're also going to talk about that. Just heads up so that you would know. But yes, I definitely do. Looking to get married, in the marriage, and unfortunately for those who have even exited, because there's a way and manner to it. You don't just leave and stuff like that. How does one get in touch with? Okay, so I just did that regarding matchmaking. I just sent my handle as regards that recorded version. Inshallah, you'd get that. Sorry from a trauma, and I don't know how to heal. And now really escaped being raped by a cousin while I was a teen. Okay, I'm suffering from a trauma, and I don't know how to heal. Okay. There is a private message. There's a private message of narrowly escaping being raped by a cousin. Please do reach out to me at the end of the program through any of it's even the message is long, and then I can see the sort of thing we're discussing here. This is massive. I can't possibly address that here. It's something I'll need to discuss with you one-on-one. So please do reach out to me. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Please, what can you say about a man telling his wife? Assalamu alaikum. Please, what can you say about a man telling his wife to be that he would cut all access to internet after marriage? I think that is toxic. You say you cut all access to internet after marriage. I think that is toxic. I think that is the big flash on what other things will be cut. If you're cutting access to internet, then whatever it is you're getting internet is probably going to apply to TV as well. It means you're going to cut the person off electronic media. This is 2020. If you cut the person off electronic media, you're cutting the person off all of the tools that is massive. I would say that's a breaking point for me. Why would you want to cut me off access to internet? Is it for lack of trust? Is it for the things I've seen you do? Why do you want to cut me off? If you cut me off, look, I'm able to do this now because of internet. I am able to earn a living. My work is internet-based, entertainment internet-based, a lot of things. I'm able to help people, alhamdulillah, because of the internet. If you seek to cut me off, think about it. I am doing this. Why would I want to cut my own wife off? It reeks of lack of trust. Then I think it's just toxic, right? Assalamu alaikum. Please, is there any matchmaking platform for Nigerian Muslims in the USA? I'm a 50-year-old widow, so I can connect with you on this. Da, 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 da. Yes. Again, you can send messages to me privately, and then I know that Micah also addresses this, and again, I know that Nedi Muslim addresses this, so you can reach out. Who is to say that one of us or even other people would not be able to, inshallah, find you a suitable spouse. May Allah provide beyond that which you desire positively. It's best not to marry a character you cannot get along for like that. What if the both seem compatible in some ways and does not resonate in other ways, like character? Is it okay to overlook? You cannot overlook character. There is order. There is order to this thing. Don't overlook the person's spirituality. Don't overlook the person's relationship with Allah. Don't overlook the person's character. Please don't try it. Like don't look. There are other things you can overlook, i.e., maybe the person being a bit on the rough side in terms of appearance, dressing. I mean, these are things that you look, okay, we can find a way to, make this better, or worst case scenario, if this does not get better, something you can work with. Character is one of the biggest things to look out for. So please don't do that. Don't overlook character. How do you deal with a prospective partner who doesn't like the idea of counseling? Okay. I had a post on this yesterday. Okay, how do I? Okay, to need me to go off and go copy the link and bring it here. I had a post on this yesterday. See, I have seen people do this. It's not even a prospective partner. It happens with people already in marriage as well. They need help. They know that they need help. They're ready to seek the help. However, the other spouse, let's stop calling it a prospective partner. We know that it's brothers that don't like this thing. Let's just, no need to be twisting ourselves, yeah? Sorry, just to be sure that I'm still on, and I'm not the only one talking to myself. Okay, so I'm just a prospective partner who is not interested in counseling. See, there are ways to go about it. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, what you find is that you speak to somebody, and then the person says, "Okay, don't worry, I'll talk." So imagine now you're there with a prospective spouse or a current partner, and you seek counseling, and then the counselor tries to reach out directly to the person. Look, that's going to blow the issue up. It's going to make things significantly worse. I believe that people have their own different programs. So if you ask me, there is something I call the indirect method, right? And it's a method that I had to develop on my own, looking at our own specific society and the sort of difficulties we have, especially with me being a man and knowing how it is from the perspective of men, especially those who don't want to do it. I believe that every counselor should be able to have their own programs that help you bring the person in. Again, it's got to be indirect. If you go the direct way, you are going to get yourself. I mean, think about it. Somebody calling me, or I reach out to somebody and say, "Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shamseddin Giwa." You're already feeling like you're somebody important. I say, my name is Shamseddin Giwa, and your wife spoke to me about, eh? Are you normal? My wife spoke to you about what? First of all, who are you? And then you are calling me. You think you have the right. Where did you even get my number? And it just blows things out. And unfortunately, this is what you'll find so many people. Unfortunately, this is what you'll find so many people do. You should have a way. Your program. I'm not going to see now. It's my own personal program. I'm not going to talk about it here. However, your program should involve, as a counselor, your program should involve something that helps the person set a good platform. It is on that platform that you will now lay your approach and your pitch to the person. You will straighten things out in the relationship, in the courtship, or there. Part of it will involve understanding. In this case now, is a prospective spouse. The person is not interested. Why is the person not interested? I will be asking you, because for instance, you know the person the most. I want to know why the person is not interested. Is it because the person feels like whoever is coming is not going to be of good enough depth? If that's it, then you already know that one of the ways to go about it is to suggest people who you know have enough depth. If it's about maybe the person has something they're doing and flags because they think that when they come to meet somebody else, the person is going to say, oh no, break it up. I had this happen to me like last month. It was the lady in this case. She didn't want something that happened, and she didn't want counseling, and it was clear. And the first thing I did when the guy proceeded with it, and I said, is it okay if I speak with her? And he goes, yes. And then when I spoke to her, I made it seem like I was reporting something he was doing to her, not like I'm asking you to come. This guy is doing this thing that is bad. Are you aware of this? How do you think that we can work together? And that just settled her in. And gradually she opened up until the point where, you are now able to pull her in and let her see the benefits of what you're about to do. So speak to your marriage counselor about that. Should premarital counseling be done singly or the both of you? I think that premarital counseling, you should begin just you. Because ideally, it should even be because before you have made that choice. Your premarital counseling should be before, ideally, you have made a selection on somebody. You don't want to make a selection and make avoidable mistakes, then you are now seeking counseling. No, you want to seek counsel, know how to go about it before you do that. And that's important. However, if you've already found someone, it's still better for you to come first and do it, because there are so many things that you would need. It's not just about the other person. People think counseling is about there's an issue with the other person. Sometimes there are so many things about you that you need to upgrade, you need to make better as well. So it begins with you. Remember the theme and how these programs have been set up. First, there was a week where you as an individual was addressed. Then this one is looking at other people. It's the same way. Your counseling begins with you. Upgrade yourself first. Make yourself proper first before you start looking at other person. What if they both simple done this? There is still like plenty. And assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the enlightenment. I'd like to ask about medical evaluation before matrimony. So we're setting the health status of the spouse to be. I know of blood group type, genotype, HIV, hepatitis B and C screening. Okay. I can't come up with the name of off my head, but I know there's something that deals with erection, that tests for that. I'm very certain, but I can't bring it up now. It's something I can look up. For me, if you've got nothing to hide, I don't think that there should be an issue. You're asking me to commit my life. That I don't think is an issue. When you're looking at, so you already said blood group, all right, because typically people do talk about genotype and they forget the rhesus factor thing from the blood group. So that is also key. So let's see. I know, what are the other ones that, off the top of my head, I think you've already listed some of the common ones, because I'm having to go through so many things at the same time is not coming at this point, but the ones that you're listed will pretty much cover a lot of our own individual issues. However, that bit about that bit about the person's sexual ability, this applies mostly to the guy, I think is massive. I think is very, very massive. I'd like to ask, because a lot of times, ideally, that a man meets a lady, well, he got it before any other talk. But as a reality, when a man comes home, he's thinking that this is the person who we get married to. How do we deal with this? Should there be some time before meeting the wali, or should we start? No. This is an issue. Oh, so the person's talking. Okay, I'd like to ask because because a lot of times, ideally, that a man meets a lady's wali before any other talk. But as a reality, when a man comes home, mistaken that this is the person one will get married to. No, let them understand. And they also understand that a person has come and sought to have interactions with you does not mean that that's the person. The idea behind the interaction is for me to know the person. I can get to know you and not like you and not want you. A situation might exist where more than one person have come at the same time. So say, are you going to say that I should marry all of them? So you have got to be the one to let them know it is what you think. It is not the reality. That I'm speaking with a man doesn't mean that this is the man I'm going to get married to, or this is the man I'm going to settle for. But of course, unfortunately, a lot of times parents have so much say in this, and a lot of us are indirectly bullied or coerced into making certain decisions and all of that. Should there be some time before meeting the wali, or don't let time come? Meet the wali as early. You need the permission before you talk to the person now. So I mean, that bit needs to come first. Can I connect with you for a matchmaking need of a USA-based spouse? I live in New Jersey, 50-year-old widow. Yes, you can reach out to me, inshallah. We'll discuss that. Sorry, my question isn't complete. I clicked send prematurely. How many men will be open to the idea of having erectile dysfunction ruled out before marriage? Yes. That one is none of your business, right? How many men will be open to the idea of having erectile dysfunction ruled out before marriage? A man who has nothing to hide would not have an issue with it. If you are having an issue with it, then that is a big enough red flag for me. So that even should not be something that you as a female should worry about. If there is nothing wrong, he would not have an issue. In fact, we like it now, something to prove that you are okay, you're fine. See, you want to do it. You're committing your life. If truly you're that important to that person, and the person feels and this knowing this is that important to you, I think that this is something the person should do, and it's important. Let it be done with someone you trust. I'm not saying that you don't trust the other person, but it's a check for a reason. You want to have it valid, so that's key. So what happens to a relation where a man has? There is just so many. I'm scrolling. I'm not going to be able to attend to everything, unfortunately, and I'm very conscious of the time. I see that Maghrib is upon us, unfortunately. If I've not been able to answer your question, you can reach out to me privately, and hopefully these are things that I can look to. I can look to. I should even stop looking at the questions. You can reach out to me privately, and these are things that I can look to answer. Unfortunately, not every question will be a one-line question. See, even with this ones, I'm seeking to just make it as brief as possible. Unfortunately, for some, the nature of their questions when they reach out privately, who need me to book them sessions? These sessions are paid. If your question is such that I can, answer instantly, I definitely will. The kind of questions that erectile dysfunction, I'm seeing erectile dysfunction, so this is popping up to me. Assalamu alaikum, sir. The kind of questions about erectile dysfunction and it's like, about what time into the relationship should it be asked? The moment the person has come with the intention of, I want to marry you, and you see that I might like what I see, that's the point where you can begin to talk about all of these things. No need to, look, if you're serious-minded, we know where we're going to. You want to get married to me. I've already seen you. I like what I see on the surface. Let's check the depth. When I find the depth and everything is good, let's get married and move on, right? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip. Oh, okay. Penile Doppler ultrasound. Thank you, Sister Khadija, for helping me with that. As a penile Doppler ultrasound. That's not the one I was seeking to look for. Again, this also, this is also to confirm erection. It's massive. What are we talking about? Marriage. We need not hide around these things again. you don't go into a biology class and they're talking about reproduction and you start, look, it is what it is. You will talk about it and you will have an exam on it. It's the same thing. That's just an exam. What about the ultimate semen analysis? Okay, at some point we need to slow down now. Sister, which one is semen analysis? Calm down for us. Semen analysis can also be done. However, be careful though. If you're asking somebody to do semen analysis, if the person chooses to ask you for things that check the uterus and stuff like that, I mean, we've got to find a balance between, find a balance between both. I understand all of these things and I understand where that can go to. However, these are not do or die things. What's the worst case that could be over semen, right? In our society, there are things that seem alien to us that we don't look to. You can look at the issue of adoption of children and stuff like that. For me, I don't think that that is a deal breaker. It's massive for those who don't have it, and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant everybody that's seeking children, will grant them their own. However, I don't know, it's not a deal breaker for me. It really is not. But then these things matter differently to individuals. Unfortunately, that's as much as I would be able to go. And I hope that this can happen again sometime. Micah is always like this. It's fun. You see, if you've been to the Micah floor, it's amazing. Questions will come right center. Everybody will attack and all. So that is the end for me of my talking. I would hand over now to the anchor.
Thank you for that. That was really lengthy, a lot more lengthy than we anticipated, and was really interesting. Thank you for your knowledge and the insight that you provided on the topics. And we pray that Allah continues to enrich your knowledge and bless you and keep you, inshallah. I would like to announce to everyone here that next week we are having another session. We're going to continue the relationship month, and we're having another session on relationship between married people and how to keep that love going. And at the end of the month, we have a special event where single people, single Muslims, male and female, can have an opportunity, a safe space to potentially meet each other and hopefully build a long-lasting relationship from there. So please, if you are interested, please just drop your email address in the chat box and we'll reach out to you through that. Thank you for everyone that showed up here, and we'll end the session now because it's almost time for Maghrib. And I would ask Brother Shamseddin to please give us a closing prayer so we can all move on with our day.
I'm just going to close on the same way we started out. But before that's reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. But before I do that, I'll just chip in a few words and say that it's been amazing being here. I appreciate everybody that's taken the time to come here. I pray that the things that we desired that triggered our being here are things that inshallah will be granted. We hope that we pray that being here would lead to positive growth, positive development in the lives of everybody. So I'll end with Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen.
Jazakumullah khairan, everybody. Don't forget to look at our chat box. Please kindly donate to Micah at our Polaris bank account 177.
Can I also add that if you would like to support Micah,
all right, Shamseddin, thank you so much. May Allah continue to honor you. Inshallah, I'm sure at some point we'll reach out to you again to have the second half of the match. I hope you would oblige us. Inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.